Welcome to the 37th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to returning viewers, and for those of you watching us for the first time, we're glad you could join us. Today's adventure takes us to Stratford, Ontario, but before we begin to talk about Stratford, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So we are actually wearing some of the souvenirs that we picked up when we went to Stratford, and we thought it would be great to have that. It's still pretty warm in Ontario, so we're glad we can. So we have these lovely t-shirts, and the artwork that's on the front is made by an artist called Maxim Noel, and May's going to tell you a little bit about her.
All right. Now, Maxim Noel, she's one of our favorite artists. We had first recognized her and saw her when we were out in Calgary and Edmonton. We saw her work way out there, and we brought home some souvenirs from that trip. This is just some of her artwork that she does. I'll show those. Very nice paintings, aren't they?
Like they are, and they're very moving. They really are beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Now, Maxim Noel was born in Manitoba. She lived on a reserve until she was 6, and then she went to. She was forced to go to a residential school in Canada, which is not a good thing. In 1964, she moved to Ontario, and she worked as a legal secretary, and she worked with lawyers and that type of thing. And I think that was, interesting for her to be in that environment and learn about her and how her culture and how her people were treated. She has lived in Stratford for the last 20 years with her daughter. And so that's kind of cool that we were there and that she lives there. She dedicates her time and work with children in First Nations communities throughout Ontario and Canada, and she goes and talks to schools. She lent her voice in art projects to improve the health and well-being of First Nations women and girls. And so in collaboration with the NWAC and their work to raise awareness of the brutal dangers of facing the First Nations women, her painting, Not Forgotten, is used to raise funds and awareness for her work.
Exactly.
So anything that I think that is sold with that Not Forgotten, which is a very moving paint art piece.
It is.
And there are I think there's t-shirts and there's wallets. The store has wallets, t-shirts,
all
jewelry,
kinds of things. And the store is called Galleria Indigena. So that's the name of the store, and there is lots of artwork in there and lots of things to see. Now I just want to let you know the one that we are wearing is called Mother Earth, and I'll get May to take a picture because I know my arms aren't quite long enough to do that. But this happens sometimes. We both kind of fell in love with the same one, store. And we thought I tried to find something else that I liked equally as well, and I didn't. So here we are.
Yep. Same shirts.
Same shirts.
But we just won't wear them on the same day, except for on our podcast, which is kind of unique.
That's right.
Now, I shall say that Maxim Noel does not sign her name Maxim Noel. She signs it with something different. And I will put that spelling of that up as I'm speaking here to show you how she signs her name.
Oh, that's good.
All right. So we love that artist, and she does great work. And it was just a wonderful store. And
it was. We really enjoyed it. So that's a little bit about our adventure. And next we're going to talk about finished objects. My first finished object is a wee vest. I'll let May hold it up. So it's got some cabling down the front, and it comes from this pattern, which is called the Vest and Toy pattern by Mary Maxim. And the wool that is being used is Trendy Baby. And it comes from Mary Maxim, and it says antibacterial, anti-pill. Kaz from the We So and So podcast, it was having a baby clothes make-along, and so I decided to do this wee vest. I like the cabling down the front and along the neck edge, and it's beautiful yarn. As I mentioned, it's Trendy Baby, antibacterial, anti-pill.
Very soft.
It is very nice, and it really came up well. I really like that pattern.
Yeah, I like that. Was it easy to knit?
It actually was, surprisingly enough. Yes, I wasn't sure about the cables, but it was a really neat cable in the way that it set it up. So I was really happy with that.
Very nice. Somebody will enjoy that in this winter. It'll be nice. Yeah.
There you go. So that's my first finished object. And my second finished object is a pair of socks. So I'll let May hold them up.
Nice.
Yes.
Your usual.
My usual. There is Katy Lou's sock pattern, and that's by Dragonpine Designs, distributed by London Yarns. The yarn itself is called Bernat Sox, and it's called Woodsman, which is very typical.
Right.
So these socks are for Scots, birthday, and that doesn't
Right.
happen for a while, but I wanted to try and get a little bit ahead in those things.
Right.
And so I think he's going to like them.
He's gonna love them. He always appreciates the socks that you do for him.
I know, those ones feel
Yeah,
real
they're very
good.
soft.
Yes, and the yarn's a little dense, and so I really, really like them.
They'll
So I
go
think
great with his work boots.
Exactly, that's a whole plan. And then my last finished object
I
is
love this.
called Moondust.
Can't wait till you see
And
this.
so there is what the pattern looks like, and that's by Kay F Jones of the Bakery Bears. And so
Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
So, am I hearing that the Bakery Bears designed this pattern?
yes,
Are you kidding me?
no, Kay F Jones. She designs all kinds of patterns.
Really?
Yes, and she also lets me know, because I love their podcast, she lets me know about different things that I haven't seen before, and it's kind of nice because she is over in England, and so it helps me to know what's going on over that way. Now, the yarn that I used is Charisma Tweed, and you can get that at Michael's. It's Loops&Thread, and this is called Cream, which makes sense. And it's the tweed in it. So I'm going to have May put this on.
She did a great job.
She did do an amazing
Designing
job
this.
designing it. So it comes around. I hope I don't catch your earring because I'd been known to do it. So let me get you all sorted out here. And then we're going to hold it just like that. And it looks fantastic.
Does it sit like this?
Yep. So the whole idea is that sits under your coat and it's not going to be too much around
Oh,
your
I
neck.
love it because I'm awfully. It's awfully bumfly when you put your coat.
It's a
For
new
those who-
Scottish word, bumpfully.
Bumfly, yeah, it means like bumfly.
Yeah, a whole bunch of bumps all over the place.
Anyway, it's nice and smooth, and it's going to be great when the winter coat goes over
Exactly.
and not have all those bumples.
And so as we were busy discussing finished objects, and I mentioned this, and he said, "Oh, are you going to make one for me?" And I went, "Well, actually, that one is for you.
Yeah,
so that belongs to
thanks.
you."
It's going to be nice and warm. Right now, it's a little over the top.
So
but,
we'll take that off.
Take
But
that
I
off. But
really,
really
really-
nice. It came out great. I love
I'm really
the button
thrilled
that
with
you
that.
picked. Where did you get this button from?
That was at Fabricland,
Oh,
and I was
okay.
happy with that.
That's
yeah.
a really nice button.
It has the tweed has a little bit of brown and black, so I had to be careful that I found something that had
Those
both
are
of those.
great. That'll keep you me nice and warm.
So
Thank you for
once
that.
again, that's called Moondust.
Okay.
And so those are my finished objects. And next, we're going to talk about
My finished object.
yes.
Okay, so I have a finished object. I've been working on my shelf that I had talked about in my last podcast, my bookshelf that I have that I sell gifts with, and I go to different places, like I'll go to auctions and I go to secondhand stores and I pick up vintage items and then I resell them on my shelf. So I'll go get those items and I'll be right back. One of my great finds was at an auction, and it's a Harley Davidson telephone. I love it. I want to keep it for myself. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but it's a telephone. How cool is that? And it's Harley Davidson. I think that'll sell really well on my shelf.
Absolutely.
I like getting unique things like this.
Exactly. Very
So great auction. Another auction I went to, there's a fellow that does this. He lives in Kitchener, and his name's John Bergen, and he does some great pottery
These
work.
are amazing. Oh my
This
goodness.
is beautiful. And I got this at auction. Not sure how much I'm going to sell this for because I really want to keep this also.
That's the trick
So
of
that's
finding
the
things
problem.
that you really like.
Right, so
That's
now
right.
I've got lots of items that I want to keep, but I'm sure those things will sell well on
Absolutely.
my...
Absolutely.
And it's just been a fun trip, just trying to find all these unique gifts that I can resell and share with everybody that I find. So
That's
it's been a
good.
fun little thing. Another finished object that I did was more of a handmade item. And what I do is, I'll show you that because it is fall here in Canada and it's pumpkin season. So what people usually do is carve their pumpkins.
Yes.
But I don't really like to carve the pumpkin because it's quite messy. It's okay
I
when the
know.
kids are younger.
Well, you know what? It actually isn't. Because what happens is they go, "I want to carve a pumpkin," and they're all excited about it. And then you cut into it and you say, "Okay, you got to put your hand in there and take out all that stuff in the inside." And then they go, "No, I don't want to do that." So you end up doing that part of it. They like designing faces though. So this is a great idea.
So this is a great idea. So you just buy the pumpkin, and then what I've done is I make these wooden, I cut these out on my scroll saw and I paint them up, and then I put little nails on the bottom and I just jab them into the pumpkin. I made a little face on my scroll saw, put a little scarf around it, and voila.
It's brilliant. It's a really good finished object.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make more of these and maybe try and sell them.
Okay.
Yeah. because I think it's a great idea, because I've never seen them around.
Exactly.
And I can't remember where I can't take credit for this pattern. I don't know where I got this years and years ago. But I'm going to start making some more and maybe try and sell them, because I think it's a great idea.
It is. It's really, really good. And it's nice to be able to decorate the pumpkin without having to cut into it.
And Colleen and I just set this in our front hallway, and it looks like we've been doing a lot of work, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's for sure.
All right, so that is all my finished objects.
And next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is a sweater, and it's a colorwork sweater, and it's the Arboreal sweater by Jennifer Steingass. And it's just about done.
It's beautiful.
So I am so happy with this. And I didn't fall into Sleeve Island. And what that means is that, or some people call it second sleeve syndrome, where you just don't want to do the second sleeve.
Why is that?
Because you've got most of the sweater done, and then you think, oh, I don't want to do another sleeve because you've just done one. But this one worked up really quickly. So what I used was Knitpicks City Tweed DK.
It's very soft.
It is very soft, and that is in the kitten colorway. And then I got some Northfield Valley yarns, and it's wool and alpaca, and that is the black. So what happened was I ordered this yarn from Knitpicks. I was happy that it came. But when it came, it wasn't the color that I thought it was. It was a little darker and a little more beige than I thought it would be. I've mentioned that before. So what I thought I would do is take that color work and put it into a color that I usually wear, which is black. I wear black
right, you
often.
do, yes.
And so I thought that's going to take a little bit of the beiginess, it's not a word, I'm making it up, away, and then it will be great. But it came out nicely, and my color work, I think I haven't blocked it yet. Once I block it, I think it should be good. I did what a lot of people recommend, is when I was doing the color work, I went up a needle size, and I think that helped to keep things not so where it starts to bunch up.
Well, you did a great job. It looks fantastic. It's going to keep you nice and warm.
And I'm just going to show...
The colors worked out well.
Yes, I was really thrilled. So there are my floats. And what that means is it's how you carry the yarn behind.
Oh, okay.
And they look pretty good. They're not too tight. And I think once I block it, I think it will open
Who
it
knew
up.
there were floats in a sweater?
I know.
The things I learned on this
show. I know. It's all this terminology.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness.
But it turned out really
I'm
nice.
really, really happy
It's excellent.
with it.
And I love the cuffs. And it, I've seen it on, and it looks really good on you. So.
And this was one of those top-down sweaters, and the nice thing is I got it until I divided for the sleeves and then tried it on and thought, okay, it's good. We're going to be good to go. And that's the nice thing about the top-down idea.
The nice part about it will keep you warm in the winter, too.
Exactly. I mean, I was thinking to plan so that you're knitting for the fall, but then you end up doing the knitting in the summer.
Right.
And there were days it was very warm with this on my lap. As you started, it was fine, but then it got to be a little heavier.
I see what you're saying, because if you were to start knitting this now, winter would be over.
I know I wouldn't get it done. So
you've got to really plan ahead.
I know it's kind of like how they do purchasing in a store. They have to buy 6 months in advance.
Or a year in advance sometimes.
So anyway, we're doing our best, but I finished a sweater and it fits, and I'm so happy about that because I've knit sweaters in the past. One sweater was actually called the elephant sweater because it was just so big.
One sleeve's this long, one sleeve's this short.
No, they were all the same size, but they were just way too big. So I've learned a little bit about swatching. I did my job that I was supposed to, so I'm really, really happy that it came out.
Good, I'm glad it turned out.
So that's my first work in progress, and it's so close to being done. So if it gets cooled off, I'll maybe be able to wear it. So my second work in progress is called a Trendy vest, and it's a Mary Maxim pattern. And because the babies were coming, we didn't know boys or girls. There's the Trendy baby. And I loved this wee vest.
I like the color. Like, it's not a pale pink. It's
it's
kind of a very bright pink, but it turned out okay.
Exactly. So I'm working on, I'm going to have to pick up along, but I love this stitch. It's really, really nice. It's going to be cushy for everyone.
How was that to knit?
It was
complicated.
You know what? It isn't. It looks complicated. It looks much more complicated than it is. And actually, it was quite fun because there were different things that you had to do, and I enjoyed that very much.
Because I really like the texture of it.
I know.
It's nice.
I'm really, really happy. And they put a wee bow over on top of the button. And so I think it's going to be lots of fun.
It's going to be great when it's all finished up.
Exactly. And then we'll tuck that away and we'll have those kind of things there. So that's the second one. Now the third one. So I had asked in our previous podcast about a knitting pattern for socks that had some ribbing on it that would make the sock be good in sizing when you don't have the person right with you. And so somebody suggested this pattern, which is the Wise Hilda's Basic Rib Sock, and it's by Kate Atherley. And I've taken classes by Kate Atherley and I love them. And so what I'm using is that Perfect Pair by Loops&Threads. Once again, you can get it at Michael's. It's beautiful to work with. And here we are.
So this is a different pattern. You've never used this pattern before.
I haven't. So
the socks look the same though.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're 3x1 ribs, so I'm really enjoying it.
I see. This is different. What you're saying. This ribbing here.
Yeah, so it's gonna hold snug to people who have whether their legs are bigger or skinnier, it doesn't matter. And when you're knitting them for somebody else. Now, what I did do, I'm a little tangled. That's what happens. Is I divided into two so that I could do them two at a time.
Look, they're almost a perfect match.
I know. I tried. It was a little tricky, and I'm hoping at the end of the toe it's going to look okay. But I really like the two at a time when I don't want to have to worry about how many rows I've done. So if there was a pattern that, let's say it was a 4-row repeat, then I probably wouldn't do them two at a time the same way I'm doing this way. But this, I can just take it with me. Sometimes what happens is I get to work. I know I'm retired, but I'm working right now, and the doors aren't open. And so what I do is sit in the car, do a little bit of knitting while I'm waiting for the doors to open.
That's a great idea. These are very nice. I like that.
And they feel really good. Yeah. So this is called Born to Run, I think is what these are called.
You might want to pick up on that then.
Yes.
Maybe it's a sign.
I better.
You'll be out jogging tomorrow. I'll put these on.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so that's that. And then my last work in progress is something that I purchased when I was out in Calgary a year ago. And I was in Edmonton and I went to River City Yarns and they had this pattern by Churchmouse Yarns and Tees. It's the Mohair bias loop. And I really liked it, and I never had purchased Shibui yarn. And so it's two yarns that you hold together. One is Silk Cloud, so that's the one that gives it its halo, and the other one is Seema. And I initially was going to do the lace cowl that Sarah from Cozy Up Knits designed. And I started it, and I thought, right now in my life, I need something that I can just knit without having to worry about lace and yarn overs and those kind of things. I do want to use that pattern another time. So that's why I went back to the one and I think it's going to be great. So
color's beautiful, of course.
Thank you. Now let's grab this so I don't lose
so
stitches.
light.
It is, and I think it's going to be warm. So the nice thing is you just keep knitting until you're just about done, and I am just about done. And I have, let me see if I can grab this. Here it is. So I have done a provisional cast on, just like the pattern calls. And so I'm just getting ready to take that out, and then I will have to Kitchener stitch all the way across. So that just means to graft it. And they say you need to keep 5 yards of yarn. So I'm a little worried about trying to keep that from tangling. But the knitting part was lovely, and it is nice and light, and it feels like it's going to be cozy.
So soft and light.
And I really do like the color. I was drawn by that color.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So I am thrilled. So
it's a little different than what you're used to doing.
Exactly.
But the yarn was a little finicky, would you say, or no?
You know what? It isn't. It's beautiful yarn. It was one of those indulgences when I went, oh, I just want to try some Shibui. And so I did, and I'm really happy with it. And I'm glad that it's light, and it's going to be warm, though. So you know how the one that I made for you is going to sit under your...
Right.
Yeah. I think this would sit under a coat and be warm as well.
Looks very fine. Look at that.
It is. It's very fine.
See that fine yarn there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you use a big needle, and it makes it open, and I really, really liked it.
Good.
So those are my works in progress, and next we're going to talk about our adventure.
Today's adventure takes us to Stratford, Ontario. We had a wonderful day there. The weather was very on our side, very nice.
Yes, it was beautiful.
You know, we're so fortunate that Stratford's only an hour away from where we live, and we can access there as much as we can. Of course, the winter driving isn't the best, but in the summer we certainly make a trip there every year. This time we had a picnic. Stratford's not a big community. It only has about 32,000 population, and it's right on the Avon River in southwestern Ontario.
Beautiful. Yeah, we had a little stroll along the river, so it was nice.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like it's just a great place. We haven't biked there, but I think it would be a great place to bike.
Oh,
to.
I think so too.
Yeah. Now, in the 1800s, back then, it was really made up of Englishmen, Irishmen, Scottish, and German. They all came there to settle, and they all started farming in and around the area. They had hog farming and dairy farming, and so they call it the mixed farming area.
Oh, neat. Okay.
The town site, the river and the town, is named after a Stratford upon Avon in England.
Okay, that makes sense.
And every year they have, it's known for, of course, Stratford Festival. I'll talk a little bit about that. But also, it's also known for the swans that they release. So they have this little pilgrimage where they leave from the annual pilgrimage women. They leave from the winter swan house and they wander down the street, and all the 24 swans go into the Avon River every year in April. But they have a pipe band there, and it's a big to do there.
It is quite an event.
But it's just lovely. We were sitting there. I don't know if we've got photos of I can't remember if we took photos. I know we took photos of many things, but I don't know if we got a swan in there.
We might have
at the river. Yeah. If I do, I'll put them up. If I don't, then I didn't get a picture of a swan, which was crazy. And it's voted one of the best places to retire in Canada.
Oh.
It was voted the 15th best place to live in Canada. And so, like I had said before, you can't really talk about Stratford without talking about the Stratford Festival, the theatre that they have there. There's a lot of like William Shatner was there, like a lot of large names that were there.
Yeah.
Some of them escape me. I know what they were, but I can't remember what they were. You can almost look that up.
Exactly.
They had the Stratford Festival celebrated their 50th. In 2003, their 50th years of plays, and at that time they had 672,000 patrons to 18 plays.
Wow,
like
that
amazing.
Was
records there, yeah. So, but I mean, a lot of people get tickets for the festival all year. And,
absolutely.
There's great places to eat because one of Colleen's colleagues had suggested Jennifer. Well, hi Jennifer, if you're watching. Jennifer had suggested that we eat at this pizza place, and I can't remember the name.
It's called Patso's. And so she said, it's not upstairs, go downstairs. And she said, the pizza is amazing.
And of course, we had to try that out.
Of course
she
we did.
is correct. The pizza was amazing. And that was lovely. And also, every time we go there, Colleen has to go to the chocolate store. And she buys these chocolates every time we go there. It's a whole store. I can't remember the name, but I love the store.
It's called Rio Thompson Chocolates. And they have mint smoothies. And they have these dinner mints. And there are so many things. I bought 2. I said, May, I bought you a chocolate. And she goes, I don't want chocolate. And I went, oh, okay, too bad. Then there's 2 for me. But there's so many different kinds, and they have all that are put together. Like they will make you up the size that you want, or they'll do it like put chocolates in a mug and put
do they?
a wrap
I didn't
around
realize
it.
they did.
There's all kinds of things that they do there. It's quite amazing. They have chocolate golf balls and all kinds of things.
Well, we always have to have a trip there.
Yes.
And also there are wonderful restaurants that we have to try. I know we went to the pizza one, but we're going to have to go back and try several of the restaurants there.
Absolutely.
The reason being, I think, because they have a chef school.
Yes, they do.
They have a chef school that runs there.
It's very famous, yeah.
And so I'm sure that a lot of good chefs come out of there. Also, Justin Bieber is from Stratford. For those of you who didn't know that. And he's often seen there visiting and going back there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So it's a great place. Love it. Maybe we could think about retiring there. I just love it. It's such a small community. It's beautiful little shops, great little shopping. I've never been to a play there. That's something that I would like to do maybe in the future. We could do that. That would be fun.
I went to one when I was in high school, and then I took my boys there. It was Sharon, Lois, and Bram at the time.
Oh, really?
Yep. And we saw them at Stratford. It was really nice, really nice. The theater was beautiful.
And great hotels and that kind of thing. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's a great place to visit. So that was our adventure. And also, maybe we should talk a little bit about the other adventure we had.
Yes.
In between going to Stratford and after Stratford and this podcast, we went a day to Kitchener, and we went to the Kitchener Knitters Festival, they call that, or
Knitters Fair.
Knitters Fair.
It is a festival, that's for sure.
Right, and it's a massive fair. I've got a little bit clip of a video I'll put in there just to give you an idea, and it's kind of like for the day for me. It's kind of like Where's Waldo, only it's Where's Colleen, because I just follow the camera and I can't find her. She doesn't worry about me or anything else. She's on her own little world. It's a whole 2 arenas full of yarn.
Yes,
and full
it
of
is
vendors.
2 hockey arenas.
And to me, I find it a little overwhelming. Too many people. and all kinds of things going on. And all I end up doing is, where's Colleen, where's Colleen? As you can see from the video, I'm like all over the map because I can't find her. She just kind of goes about her thing and does her thing.
I know.
I see this little redhead on the camera, and I'm like, oh, that's it, that's it. So it's really quite funny. By the end of it, I was exhausted. It was time for lunch.
It was time for lunch, and we'd taken a picnic like we did last year, and that was great. We actually did really well because we timed it so that we were there just about 15-20 minutes before it opened, which was really, really good. We got our tickets, we stood in line. We saw Dawn, you'll see that in the pictures of the codependent knitters, so we had a little chat with her. It was just so much fun. The energy is amazing. Now for the first hour or so, we're in good shape, and May's there. I'm saying about colors, and we're trying to find things, and it's almost like you want to scope it out and then go back. But the thing is, if you kind of have to purchase things when you see them, because by the time we would be circling back again,
It wouldn't be there?
it either wouldn't be there or it would be so busy you couldn't get in. So we lasted about an hour and a half. Loved it. Got to see some people that we know, and you'll see that in the video.
And I also want to mention that we ran into a friend of ours, Marilyn, and she introduced to her friend, Robin, who was from Stratford. They're both from Stratford. And her friend is a designer, and she designs patterns and that type of thing.
Exactly.
Now, Marilyn we had met when we went on a knitting retreat, and you can refresh my memory as to where
That was in
retreat
Arboreal, and it was the Yarn Over Sleepover. That was the first retreat that we'd gone to, and May was such a good sport, and she actually dyed yarn with me, and you'll see that in a previous episode.
It was a really fun retreat, and if you want to see that episode, go back to Aurelia, and it's way back in the day.
Yeah.
And anyway, we ran into Marilyn, so it was great to see her, and she was asking, you guys going to come back to the retreat in Aurelia? And we hadn't decided, and we don't know, but she still goes faithfully every year, loves it, and it was a great little place to go. If you ever want to do a knitting retreat up north, it was a really nice place to go. So it was nice to see you, Marilyn. Thanks for introducing us to your friend Robin. It was great to see you, and anyway, I had enough. I was set.
She is a trooper, but I looked at her at one point in time, I said, I think you're ready to go. And she just smiled. She went, yep.
But you know what? I have no problem going and sitting over at a space and just letting
you're
you
really
do
good
thing.
about that. Yeah,
I
you're
can
really
just
good
go
about that.
somewhere and we don't have to go. You can just spend the whole day there, but as long as I know and I can, pack a coffee or lunch or something like that, then
it was good.
Then we can.
And they do a great job. The
it's so well organized.
Yeah, the Kitchener Knitters Guild, they do such a great job there. And if you needed to ask somebody a question, there was somebody there right there, and they had door prizes and all kinds of things on the go. So I would recommend, if you've never been, to go there. And I think you would just absolutely love it.
And it's a little overwhelming at first because as you see, the lineup goes for like miles as you're going down. I'm thinking we're never going to get in, but it moves very quickly.
They're very efficient at getting you in, and because it is 2 arenas, one on each side, you can, even if people divide into 2, then there's half as many people, and it's really good to see, and all kinds of vendors. It's amazing.
Now it is a little overcrowded, and I'm the older I get, the more I don't like crowds and touristy spots and that type of thing. So we did take a little drive to the store. What was it called?
Shall We Knit?
Shall We Knit?
Kitchener.
In Kitchener was open.
Yes.
Which was they were also at the show, but they were open.
Yeah.
And so we went in, and Colleen and I were the only 2 people in the store. It was heaven. It was peaceful. It was beautiful.
Yeah. So you were great, because there was one things particularly I was trying to find, and I couldn't find it. And I thought, I don't want to keep May any longer. And I knew that the store was open because I tend to research when the yarn stores are open. And so it was nice to go in and ask a few questions. And the store, as you say, was quiet. So it was
coming from where we went and then we went to the store, it was kind of like 2 different things.
Exactly.
But it was a wonderful day. The weather was amazing. The weather has been amazing.
Absolutely.
So we had a great time there, a great time in Stratford, and
next we're going to talk about souvenirs. First souvenirs I want to talk about happened when we went to Stratford. So we've talked about our t-shirts. So now let's talk about yarn. I went to visit Suzanne at Knit Stitch. So she used to be in London, and now she's in Stratford. And I love her cute little store. It's bright. The one in Stratford is really, really nice. I had a plan when we went to Knit Stitch. I wanted to get some yarn so I could make that Moondust scarf with the big button on it that I'd made for you. So I didn't mention any of that to you. I said I need to. So once again, look at, oh my gosh, there's going to be a thing.
Nice.
So I bought a new black coat last year, and I'm going to make myself one of those because, as we know, I like a little bit of purple. So this is Cascade, and it's called 128. So it's bulky, and it's going to make that nice.
That'll be really nice. Yep. I think that'll be wonderful.
So I'll just have to find the right button to put on top, and I was thrilled about that. Yeah. So that's the first thing.
Nice.
And the second thing I picked up are these two things, which are, there's that, it's cotton to make dishcloths and face cloths and all those kind of things. And this is a little softer.
Yeah,
and so it's Estelle. It's called Suds. And you're right, the colors are a little different too. So I bought two, maybe one for May and one for me. We'll see how her fingers are going to go flying. That's good. I'm hoping to get her knitting. So we've talked a little bit about that in tutorials. So I think that will be good.
Knitting. Oh, I'm scared.
You'll handle it well. I know you can do it. The other thing that I picked up, because we did go to the Goodwill in Stratford, because May wanted to see if she could find anything.
Vintage items.
And I found one of these. So this was not a vintage item. This is just a brand new little pencil case. It was $1. It wasn't expensive. But it's a thick plastic, and I know it would be great to put your notions in. So I can just throw it in a project bag, and then it would keep them safe. So
nice idea.
It was just a quick pickup. Then, of course, it was a warm day when we were in Stratford. So I said to May, I really do want to go get some chocolate. And she's looking at me like, it's hot, like it'll melt. And I said, well, if you just stay in the car and keep it air conditioned, I'll just zip in and zip back. So that's exactly what we do. We found a nice parking spot. I went and got this. Now, the other thing about it is she didn't see what I purchased. And I hid this. So we have this water container in the fridge so that we can go get some water. And so it's just like a spout that you have to, like a spigot kind of thing. You open, the water flows out. And I thought, if I put this on top of that, she'll never see it. I thought,
I would eat it.
I know you would eat it. So I thought, I'm just going to stick it on the top of this thing. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, it had been safe. And I thought, I'll show you what it is first.
So I went, look what's here. Did you remember you'd put it there?
I knew I'd put it there, and I knew she kept saying, well, I really should fill up the water in that pit, that container. I went, no, it's okay. There's still enough there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Because I knew what was on top. And then, lo and behold, yesterday you discovered it. And I said, May, you can't open it. It's for the podcast. So anyway, so these are things that we love. So these are called dinner mints. And so they are dark chocolate and mint, and they call them hostess mints, and they are delectable.
And the nice thing about these mints, they're not huge, and they're not, if you only have one, calorie-wise, it's not too bad. It's when you have 1, 2, and 3 that's a problem. But
sometimes one just isn't enough.
Yeah, that's true. But we're usually pretty good. This usually lasts us quite a while.
It does last us quite a while. So anyway, now that we know where it is, we'll see how long it lasts.
Having one today.
Exactly. So that was Stratford, and great souvenirs, and really enjoyed going to Stratford.
My favorite item, I have to say, is these t-shirts.
The cotton in them is amazing.
Comfortable.
It's really nice. So let's talk about this. So we ended up at a dollar store at some point in time, and that comes from the dollar store.
And what is this for?
Well, I put projects in it, right? It's a project bag. It's plastic. It will keep things from getting wet if it's rainy. Patterns, exactly. So it's about $1.25. It wasn't too bad. I'm thrilled with that, right? So it's kind of nice when you can do that. All right, so then we went off to the Knitters Fair. And so let's talk first of all about the Knitters Fair itself. So what I purchased was this, and I don't want to take it out. So it is called a Zen Yarn Garden Gradient Trio. It's called Royal Time, so I know it's going to be a little crinkly and a little shiny. So there is a cowl pattern that I bought this at the Galt House of Yarns booth, and they have a pattern on their website that is designed for this. And I have I've been in their store a couple of times, and I've always looked at it, and then I thought, no, I won't. And this time I needed to do that, so I was really happy with that.
Yes, nice.
Okay, so that is that. And then the other thing that I managed to find, and this came from the Needle Emporium booth, and this is called Knox Mountain Knit Co. So I have a brown one, and I needed to have a black one. So it is one of those shawl cuffs, And I like the fact that it's got the holes in it. It's got a little bit of a design in it.
We saw a couple of people with these on. They were actually quite nice when they had these
Exactly,
large
yeah.
shawls and they had this.
Yep. It
cuffs
really
in
is
there.
nice.
So
So
one lady's booth, they made these out of
they sewed them.
sold them, and they were like they weren't the same. But it's very different. It's just a different take
Idea,
on it,
that's
different
right.
idea on it. But yeah, cool.
So I'm going to get my sewing machine humming and see what I can do.
Yeah, I'd like you to make one, see what it looks like. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's cool.
Exactly. The leather, it's
Yeah.
I like the leather because I like the look of it.
I like it as a bracelet to myself.
I know, but you may not have it.
I'm not going to be wearing it here.
It's okay, but guess what? Christmas is coming. You never know what may happen. I might be in another yarn store before Christmas, so that's okay. So then, as May said, we left the hustle and bustle of the Knitters Fair, and then we went to Shall We Knit in Kitchen. Those are my souvenirs. We had a great time at the Kitchener's Knitters Fair. We loved Stratford. We enjoyed that, and the
We
pizza
did.
was very, very good. But we cannot finish before we give out the prizes for our 500 subscriber giveaway.
Thank you for all the comments. They were absolutely amazing.
We
It was
really
nice
like
to,
hearing.
Yeah, it was really nice to hear from everybody and the very positive. What a lovely community, the knitting community. It's really positive.
It
and
really,
nice.
really is.
Thank
So we
you for all of
appreciate
that.
all of that. We are love that you're here and that you're enjoying what we're doing. That makes us happy. Our first winner is,
Drum roll.
yes please, Herb Wire and Irene. So Irene was the one that was commenting, but it was under her husband's account, and that's no problem because both men and women are knitters, and so that's exciting. So that is the first person that wins, and what you win is this lovely Ginger Snap project bag, and then this is called a bite-sized snap, so it's 50 grams, and this has Stelina in it. So I think, Irene, you're gonna love it.
There you go.
So
Irene,
if you can
congratulations.
just send us on Ravelry, and I'll give our name up there, and send us what your address is, and then we can get that mailed out to you. Okay, so that was the first prize. Now the second prize goes to, drumroll, Katisha61, who we know because she's won before.
She has.
Exactly. So random number generator, there she is. And we're going to send this out to you, Katisha. And so if you once again can send us your email, your address, your home address. I'm pretty sure I can find it, but just in case I can't. And so where you're going to send that to is us. We are MC Knit Adventures on Ravelry. And so just send us a little message, let us know your address, and then we can get those.
We'll get this
sent
out as soon as we can.
Exactly. So thank you again to Ginger Snap. These are some of the prizes that they gave to us when we went to their pop-up show. There are still a few in our prize bucket, and those we will give out another time.
Right.
So thanks again to all of our subscribers, and thanks, as May said, to those of you who comment. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up. And always feel free to comment and let us know if there's any other places that you think we should go visit, because we have a great time
That's
doing
right.
this.
Yes.
So until next time.
You take care.